Hello guys, welcome to another oh no, it's not a Minecraft video, it's a Lego World video. Now I might have gone over to the dark side a little bit here, but I will still be making the Minecraft videos, but this game came out and I got a little bit addicted to it. I played it quite a bit, so if you want to build a castle that you see floating here, just carry on watching. So just build this box for now. Now it's 8 blocks wide at the top, as you see there. Now the block size is very hugely compared to Minecraft. This is the smallest size block that you can use. This is one of the 1x1 tile blocks that you can use, and I'm just using this because I'm trying to use a lot of detail here, and it's going to be 23 blocks tall using this tiny 1x1 block tile. And once we've sketched out the outer frame of it, all we then need to do is we can just cut out the middle of it and we can start adding some detail to it. It's very powerful, this Lego Worlds game. There's so many features in it. You've got basically World Edit built into it. You've got the ability to copy and paste. You can terraform with a press of a button. As you can see, I'm just chopping chunks out of this just with a tool that I'll just change the size of to whatever fits. Now you just use solid blocks up the side here just to create an indent. In Minecraft, those blocks would be huge and we wouldn't be able to get to this kind of level of detail in such a small structure. This building here is probably just about big enough for your little Lego man to just stand up in, that's about it. Yet you can put so much detail in, and you've got curves, you've got actual curves which you don't get in Minecraft. Now Minecraft's still brilliant. There are some advantages that Minecraft still has over Lego. For instance, the multiplayer. The multiplayer in Lego isn't fantastic. You can only have 2 people in a time. And when you do have 2 people in, it's very, very laggy, so I wouldn't recommend it for that. So Minecraft's still my baby. It's my favourite game, but this is definitely worth a look. And if you'd like some more Lego videos, let me know in the comments. As you can see, I'm overlapping blocks. It's not like Minecraft where you can only put 1 block in any particular position. You can put a 4 long block on top of another one and overlap them, and they just default back to the smallest size block that will accommodate it, which is quite powerful. It means you can squish buildings together. You can copy a tower and you can just paste it directly on top of another one, which is really powerful. And you can pick up all these windows. These windows I found in a city, which is about 3 worlds in, and I just went around with the discovery tool, just clicking discover, 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 and just finding all of these different building items like windows and window frames and doors and all sorts of amazing things. So the palette of blocks is just enormous. I'm using a 1x1 curved tile there with a 6 long single tile block there. Just put a bit of a window ledge on it, and as you can see, it's great. You can put little curves on it, and I'm coming down with balustrades, and the detail is amazing. It's fantastic. You can pack this much in. And what I'm doing now is I'm just copying that front bit that you've just seen me build. Then I'm going to use the add remove tool just to hack off the bits that I don't want copied, so I'm just getting rid of those. That's really useful if you've used odd sized blocks or bigger blocks than you should have done, which can copy a bit oddly. You can just use that tool to just hack the back off and trim it to whatever size you want. Copy one size. Once you've copied it, you can then save it, which is what I'm doing now, and that's permanently in my inventory. I can go to any other world and I can reuse it again. And you just press the X button, just flip it around, paste it, and after you've built the entire section, then again I'm saving the entire thing as a big chunk, which I can use again. And as you can see here, I'm just copying and pasting them on top of each other to create a tower. And imagine, the bigger you build, the more detailed you build, the more you can copy and paste and just keep on adding to it. So that's the main part of the structure now. We don't have to build that little section. We can just repeat as much as we want. Now we're going to do the roof. So I'm going to show you how to do the actual tiled section first before the window that's just underneath the roof. Now you go 4 blocks wide. Now these blocks are 2x2, and they're the blocks with a ridge in the centre of them. You may have to find this. That is one downside to Lego. You don't just jump straight into creative. You've got to find a lot of the blocks. But I found that if you just stood in one spot, built a wall around you, and you built something and you were working on some designs, over an hour or so you get this little fella that just runs along and you have to catch him and grab him, and you steal blocks off him, and that increases your block palette. So just putting these 1 and 2 inverted slopes underneath the edges, just to give it a little bit of support on the roof. Put that on the outer edge of each of those 2x2 blocks. As I said, there's 4 of those 2x2 blocks in a row. If you watch the video slowly without listening to me waffling on, you should be able to catch up with that quite easily. Then what you do is you put an edge over the top of it, which is a 3x3 corner piece. Stick that on the top, twirl it around so you've got it in the right angle, plonk it on, and that's almost that section done. Yep, now what we're going to do is do this bit on the right that you see there. Now this requires some roofing tiles, and initially what you do is you scroll down, find the block you want, ignore this bit, you don't really have to do this, I did this in error, but as you can go straight over the top of it, you can just build straight on top of the previous blocks you've laid down. It doesn't matter, it will just remove it. So just use these blocks here and put the tiles down. Use a flat tile here, that's a 6x1. You should have a little bit of an indent there. Do that on all 4 corners. And now it's a 2x2 curved slope that we're going to be using, and put it just as you see I'm doing there, so it should be 4 blocks wide, and it should just leave that little triangle bit at the end. Do that all the way around, and then in that little triangle smooth it out with just one of those tiny 1x3/4 curves. That's another thing that's quite good with this game, is that you don't just get stairs and slabs, you get multiple different types of slopes, so you can easily create different gradients of roof structures in very small spaces. To get these kind of slopes in Minecraft would be very difficult. It may sound like I'm really banging on about this, but I'm really enjoying it. I just wish that it had better multiplayer, then it would perhaps be a decent rival for Minecraft. But I still see it's going to get quite popular, I think. And I think if they do expand the multiplayer, then Minecraft could have some serious problems on their hands. Now I'm just using a 2x2x3 corner brick, which, as I said, that's a very steep slope, which enables you to create really nice little peaks on a roof, which in Minecraft, to create this kind of slope, you would need to build it, I don't know, probably about 40 blocks wide. It's time consuming, takes a lot of time, takes up a lot of space, and this definitely has the edge when it comes to roof structures you can create. Now I'm just putting a circular piece on there, that's a 2x2 circular piece, and then on top of that I'm putting a groove brick, which is again 2x2, and I'll stick that on top of that, and then the next bit should be pretty obvious. You have to find this off that little guy, it's the undercarriage block, stick that on top. Now I've left it as it is because there isn't another block that I've got that will put a little spike on it, but I found some stalactites in a cave earlier, discovered it, and you can actually place it on. It's not as easy to place as it is these standard blocks. You have to kind of like aim it with the little tool that you have, and it does take a little bit of fiddly work. You'll see that at the end. And then inside there I'm just using those 2x3 curved blocks that fit into those gaps. Now all you need to do is do the pretty part of the window underneath the roof, and this is the last section. Once you've done this, you've done the tower. And I've started to build it in stages on the left there, and I've just copied and pasted the bottom to the right, which makes it really easy for me showing the different layers. Let me know how you think this tutorial is going. It's not really a tutorial, it's more of a let's build. It's my first attempt at this, as I've only been playing the game for 3 days. But give me some feedback. Let me know how you would like this done, whether or not you can follow this by watching it. It might be quite difficult because of the variation in different block sizes. Now what I'm doing here is I'm actually changing the colour of the blocks in my palette. I don't need to choose a different block to have the colour. I choose the shape of the block and then I choose the colour that goes on it, which is incredibly useful. It means that you can collect colours as well. So not only can you collect colours, you can collect different textures. So you walk into a region with a volcano, for example, and you'll find the texture for soot or charcoal or something like that, and it'll be a mixture of blacks and greys and things like that, and you can just paint that texture directly onto a wall. Really good, and you can change the size of the paintbrush to maybe 50 blocks wide and just spray it all over the side of your building and just change the colour of it. In Minecraft you would have had to have completely rebuilt the structure in order to change the colour of it. I've had to do it a lot of times. I've had to change hundreds and thousands of blocks of roofs because I decided I didn't want a blue one, I wanted them red. In this it would have taken about 10 minutes, which is a big advantage. This is the same window that we used earlier, but instead of putting them in groups of 4, they're just standalone windows on their own this time. It's the small white window that I found in the town, and to the right and left of it I've used those single-sized blocks which have got those quarter circles on them, and it just really rounds off the window really nicely. You can create nice detail that you just can't in other games like Minecraft, and I'm really, really loving it. I just wish the multiplayer's better. This is a little bit of a tricky bit because these inverted blocks can't overlap because they've got a curve on them. If you try that, it breaks the block. So I can only do it in one way. I've done it horizontally left and right, and then to create a little bit of definition I've used singular, just tiny slabs in pairs above them on the sides. Now I did make a mistake here. They needed to go up 2 blocks higher, which I will correct later on in the video. I'll do that slowly, and I didn't speed it up so that you can make those corrections then if you like. It's not a disaster if you've done it this way. You don't really have to copy this block for block. The only thing that's probably important is that you manage to fit the window into it without having to delete all the structure afterwards. So what I would suggest is if you can't follow this exactly, then put the window in first and try to use the design cues that I've used here to fit wherever your window's gone, and then that should still yield a pretty nice result. And one last thing to bear in mind, when you put windows in, don't move them afterwards, because quite often it's very difficult to put those windows back into place afterwards. It does strange things where if you try and reposition them, it jumps out of the position because other blocks are slightly overlapping them, and the game refuses to let you place it. So once you put a window in, leave it where it is, build around it. Now I'm going to place another one of those items that I found in the city, and this is just a window arch that goes above it. It's a special item. You go to fixtures and furnishings, it's arched window top, stick that on top of there, place it in, and like I said, with the window in the same way, once you've placed it there, don't remove it because it's very difficult to put it back in, especially if you've put other blocks around it afterwards. It just won't fit. You'll have to probably destroy half the front of it just to put it back in again. And from here on, if you look at the left hand side, all you need to do is use the tiny 1x1 tiles. Use the white colour on these as well, just to give it a bit of colour differentiation between the rest of it, and just create a little mini arch with those tiny little blocks, just to sort of hem in that arch that's at the top. Now this is what I was talking about earlier. 2 blocks on the left hand side were wrong. That means those little rounded bits that are sticking out the top there are wrong as well. I didn't include them earlier in the video because they're wrong. So all you have to do is just take 2 blocks off the bottom and put 2 blocks higher up, and then bring those pieces that are coming out there so that they're level with the top of that arch. It's as simple as that. Just bring everything up so it's level with that arch, and then once you've got level with the arch, then bring out some half circular single blocks just to come out a bit on the top. And then what you're going to do is create a little canopy, as you see on the left hand side, that just sticks out from the front of it. So I'm just bringing the half circle tile out at the front, but behind it I'm just going to do a row of flat tiles, flat single 1x1 tiles behind it, and it'll just go in a little arch above it. Apologise for this being a bit slow, but I took my time on here. I didn't speed up the video so that you could watch it and follow, because this is a bit fiddly. Now you perhaps don't need to do this because you've already built this section on the upper part of the tower, but the reason I'm putting these blocks in is so that when you've copied and pasted and you're about to merge them together, it's handy if you've got the same block that they join to on both structures, so that you know where to place them. Makes it easier to connect them. And that is it pretty much done. Now that we've almost completed it, I just need to fill in those little gaps. I'm just using that little tile, and I think there's a couple of minor details I need to do with the block colour that's underneath there. I don't want them all to be grey. I'm going to make a couple of them white. But other than that, it's done. And it is truly done, because all we need to do now is just copy that section and paste it 4 times on top of each other, and you get this done. And as you did before, copy it, save it, name it, which I've already done, and then you can just place it on top. Now, when you're placing these, you have to use the discovery tool to pull out the item in the first place, but the discovery tool is absolutely useless for placing. So what you need to do is place it in a corner somewhere or in the sky, and then use the copy tool to give you more control over actually positioning it. Now what I'm doing is I'm combining together the roof and all of the sections that we've created before and placing it together, because we saved it as we were going along. Now there's one last piece that I was talking about earlier, which is to put a stalactite on the top of it. Now this is a bit awkward because you have to climb up the tower, and it's a bit fiddly because you have to aim it, and the aiming's terrible, absolutely terrible. So you use an extra large stalactite, and you have to just move it around and jiggle it. And I'll speed it up to about 8 times speed in a second, just so you don't have to wait for me fiddling around with it for about 10 minutes. But eventually you get it in position and you press A to place it, and boom, done. And that is it done. That is it finished. And if you copy that entire structure now, you can copy and paste as many as you want infinitely, and add a wall and a few more towers and some other structures into your repertoire, into your palette, and you can create some really cool structures, as I'm about to show you. So here's one I built earlier, and these are some other towers that I built, were a bit bigger with some other rooftops, and there's about 8 pieces there. I just combined and repeated and just copied and pasted over the top. It's fantastic. If you'd like more of these videos, let me know, and thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe.